Start with Michael Lev, Arizona Daily Star.
Hey, good evening, Coach.
Hey, good evening. What's happening?
Not much. Football, which is cool, right?
Absolutely.
Tell us your impressions so far of the guys in your group.
Yeah, I mean, they're all working really hard. We're about 10 days in, and, we like the way they're working, and they're learning a new defense. So we're pretty fired up about where they're going and how they're getting there. Obviously I got Jalen Harris. He's having a tremendous camp right now. He's probably the one guy that looks the most natural in the position, and that's saying a lot since he had his hand in the dirt for most of his career here. So it's been a nice surprise to see him transition to on his feet, and he's 6'5", 260 pounds. And when you have a guy like that, that's a good thing for the Wildcats. We're trying to create some depth. We're trying to, find out who that guy's going to be. That's what's happening right now.
Sure. Coach Sumlin was talking about Quibana Watson the other day and said that he's a natural pass rusher, but he's still learning how to play in space. How would you kind of summarize where his game is at?
Yeah, that's about right. He's got a ways to go. He's young. He's got a lot of natural gifts. He does have some twitch off the edge. Those are some of the things that we like about him, but he's never played in space, so there's a lot that goes along with that. So he's going through a process, and, we're breaking it down for him. We're putting him in positions that he's never been in, and he's getting better every day, but, we just got to keep going with the plan with him.
I don't see any hands up, Michael. If you have more questions, go ahead and proceed.
Sure. What made you guys move Isaiah Johnson from defensive end to outside linebacker? Why is he a good fit there?
He was probably the closest guy that would fit that, that position into the boundary. We transitioned from a 4-down to a 3-down. That typically happens, right? Because you don't have enough of those bodies. So he was probably the closest. He's weighing about 250 pounds. He does have, he's strong, he's stout. He's got some, decent change of direction. We won't put him to the field. He'll be into the boundary, but he was the closest guy out of the ends that we could do that with. So, obviously there's some need to get those types of bodies, but we're pretty pleased at what he's been capable of doing, and, and he's a fast learner.
But by the same token, a lot of us thought that Eddie Siamau Sanatoa would kind of fit that mold as well. How come he isn't in your group and is instead with the D linemen?
Yeah, those decisions were made before I got here. So, but we're constantly, evaluating our roster, and, we'll move pieces around as we see and feel fit.
Next question will go Alec White, Arizona Daily Star.
Hey, Coach.
I'm
Nice to meet you. Just curious what this summer's and off season has been like for you, coming into a new program here at Arizona, and then you lose a couple of the big defensive names, Colin Schooler and Tony Fields, and then having to adjust on the fly again with postponements and everything like that. Just how challenging it has been not knowing who was going to play for the Wild for you at the linebacker spot, and now kind of trying to adjust on the fly.
Yeah, well, it's a lot like everybody, right? We've all had to adjust. I'm sure you've had to adjust in your job, and that's what we do. We get a situation and we just adjust on the run. It was tough not having the spring football. We thought we would have some time throughout the summer, so we got a little bit of time here and there, but when you're dealing with COVID-19, there's a lot of restrictions, that the county and the NCAA's put on you. So, we just took it in stride. I thought the guys did a really good job. We did a lot of Zoom meetings. The only thing I couldn't grab them, you couldn't, show them something on film and then put them in that situation so they can feel it and learn it. We always say, you only learn 10% of what you hear, 30% of what you hear and you write, right? And then it goes up to 50, 60% if we could put you in that situation, right? And then obviously the teacher learns the most, it goes up to 90 if they can teach it back to us. Those are the pieces that we were missing, So when you go through a Zoom meeting, you don't know how much they're actually getting. We could probably guarantee about 30%. And so now we're catching up. We're catching up to those pieces because defensively we're reactionary. We don't follow lines on a board or on a piece of paper. We actually have to respond to the pieces as we see it. So a lot of what we've been doing in training camp and leading up to it was catching up to the things that we lost, through the spring and the summer. Addressing the question about the linebackers that left us, we had no control over that. They had to make the best decisions for their situation, and I don't blame them for that. And what we've done is we've taken who we've had and we're going to make the best of it.
Thank you.
Our next questions will go back to Michael Lev.
You were just talking about kind of the retention percentage there and then also catching up here in training camp. What is your assessment or what's your sense of where the defense is in terms of knowing the playbook at this point?
Well, we're still in installation phase. We're still installing all the pieces. It's not as easy as you like to make it sound. You got a lot of situations that come up in a football game, from coming out to going in to short yardage to goal line, to red zone, to base first, second down, to pressures, to coverage in those long yardage situations. So I just named about 7 or 8 situations. Those require different defenses. You know what I mean? So to say that we have it all nailed down in 10 days, that would be crazy without having a spring football and a summer, to go through all that stuff. Like I said, a Zoom meeting doesn't get all that, right? You don't know until you get them, live and in action, to see to assess what they know and where we need to bring them to. So, we're chugging along. Coach Rhodes is doing a good job. He's not getting impatient. We're going through the process. We're eating that elephant one bite at a time, and he's doing a great job of keeping us all grounded there.
You mentioned Jalen Harris early on. Obviously has all the measurables. We've seen flashes of greatness from him, but not necessarily over the long haul of an entire season. What do you think is the key for him to unlock that talent?
He is an incredible talent. We've been working on his game, and he's got a great game. He really does. I think he just needs the reps, and he needs to play more football. That's all. I'm extremely proud of the kid. He works extremely hard. He studies the game, and that's what's going to set him aside. It's the amount of study that he does. That we talked about it today. A guy gets better by how much he studies and knowing what he's going to catch on a particular play, on a particular Saturday, knowing the opponent, knowing particular things that they're showing us that we can, that he could say, all right, this is what I'm going to get. This is how I'm going to counter it. This is how I'm going to defeat that block. This is how I'm going to beat this guy in pass rush. So I think you're going to see that. The guy's fully committed. He's banging at my door all the time to get more work in. So those are all positive things, and I think you're going to see some good things out of him.
Just by the sheer numbers, it seems like you guys are going to have to use some walk-ons at the linebacker positions. Is there a name or two, someone we should know from your group who stood
Sure.
out or maybe stepped up in that regard?
Sure. Rourke Freeberg is getting reps, rotating at the 1 and the 2 spot. So he's got a chance. He's competing, with Quibana Watson. And then we have, like 3 or 4 more guys that we're looking at, that, I think those 2 guys are the main guys,
Sure.
that's worth talking about right now, until we see some more out of these guys that we're trying out.
Sure. Coach Devan the other day was talking about how at offensive line, because of the depth they have, they're kind of keeping guys at one position. Are you guys at linebacker cross training at all to sort of account for any scenario that might come up?
Sure. Obviously, with the loss of a couple of inside linebackers, we had to move Pandy back inside. So he'll be a swing guy. Ultimately, when we take the field against Utah, we're going to have our best 11 out on the field. And when you're in practice and you got to have a 1 group and a 2 group and a 3 group. You don't necessarily like have those options all the time. You know what I mean? Like, because a guy has to practice in a specific position, and then you got to cross train him in certain times. But I will guarantee you this, right? Coach Rhodes will have the best 11 on the field, come Saturday afternoon or night against Utah.
All right, thank you, Coach. That's all the time we have. We'll be back in just a minute with Mikey Irving.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks.
All right, we'll now begin taking questions from Mikey Irving. If you have a question, please raise your hand. Yes, Michael Lev, Arizona Daily Star.
Hey there, Mikey.
How you doing?
Let me get my video going here. Hey, man. What has it been like to play for Coach Egan?
It's a change because most of us are used to like coaches that tell us good job and like we're doing really well. He does that, but like he's more of teaching us what we can do better at and what we can do better for the team and how we could work a move differently or be more aggressive and what our steps are.
Do you like that?
For sure. A hard coach is always a good coach to me.
Which position are you playing for the most part on the defensive front?
Right now, they have me playing both tackle and nose.
Tackle and nose. Okay.
But
Do you have a preference between those two, or feel like you fit in better at one or the other?
Tackle probably for right now, but I'm fine with playing whatever the team needs.
And is that different than what you were doing before in the previous defense?
Yeah. Last year I was playing more nose tackle than regular free tech.
Okay. So you got to play a good deal in the second half of the season last year, probably the most playing time that you've had.
Yeah.
What was your approach to the off season to kind of build on that?
Well, it was different because of COVID and all that. But in the off season, I actually went back home for a little bit during the summer and just trained with my trainers, my D-line coach out there, and my lifting coach. Then I came back down here and worked out with Coach B and all the strength and conditioning coaches here.
When you say your D-line coach, your strength coach, you're talking about your high school coaches, or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So how hard was it? Difficult to stay in shape? What kind of program did you have going when you were away?
In the beginning, it was hard because not everywhere in California was open, so we couldn't really go to gyms. So in the beginning, I was mostly just running around the neighborhood, playing basketball in my front yard. But once things started to open up, it got much easier. and I was able to work out more pretty much every day to stay in shape.
So how is your physique compared to a year ago? Have you lost weight, gained weight?
A year ago, I was probably much heavier. I feel more elusive and smaller now, and I just got stronger and quicker.
What's your weight these days?
330.
330?
Next question will go Alec White, Arizona Daily Star.
Yeah, Mikey, just building off the weight and feeling more elusive. Why do you feel that it's important that it was important for you to lose that weight?
Because I felt like last year playing in the season, I got tired quickly as the game went on. And I wanted to drop weight so I can gain more stamina so that I could play more and play at a faster speed because college football is a fast game. So that's just how I want to play.
What do you like about the new defensive system? I know you got, new coaches, new rotational players, but what do you like about it so far?
The thing about like this defense is that our scheme, we move around a lot, and every play we're hitting somebody. We're aggressive now. Last year we were more like our D-line, we were more reading things. Now we're more like go hit them, get in the backfield. We're just moving around a lot more, confusing offenses.
The coaches were talking a lot the past week about, or in the offseason too, about the emphasis for everybody to be, tackling. Tackling's the most important thing on defense. Has that been the case when you guys are out at practice? Has that been the big emphasis, is tackling?
Yeah, tackling was for sure a big emphasis, but our main emphasis was everyone doing their job and make sure your job gets done. Like if you have to shoot the gap or if you got back, make sure you do that and focus on that because everyone's doing their job. There's not much else we can do.
Thank you.
Next question will go Matt Moreno.
The coaches have talked a lot about the depth you guys have up front this year compared to other years. What's the competition been like for you guys, knowing there's only so much playing time and quite a few of you guys up front?
It's all good competition. We all working hard. We all want to get that first spot or get a whole bunch of playing time because at the end of the day, we all want to go somewhere with football. But yeah, we all been working hard, trying to not outdo the other, but yeah, we're all competing for the same spots because we have so many spots at nose and tackle and end. So whoever gets it, gets it. But we're all going to keep working hard and doing our thing.
We have time for one more question. That'll go to Michael Lev, Arizona Daily Star.
You guys added 4 freshman defensive linemen to the roster. Is there anyone in particular among them that you've kind of taken under your wing?
I pretty much say all of them. We all the whole D-line, we coach up all the freshmen because all freshmen have like tendencies to go back to what they were doing in high school, which probably won't work in college. But I wouldn't say I took just one person under my wing. I would say that we all help each other do better and see what we can do better to make an emphasis on the team and just do better as a team.
What have you seen out of those guys so far?
They're all willing to learn. They're all in it for the long run. They all want to get better. They all want to play aggressive and play hard, and that's all you can ask them.
Sure. Earlier in training camp, Grant Gunnell was talking about some predictions that had been made about the team. Some people saying that you guys are going to go 0-7, and I think his quote was that he thought that was a joke.
Yeah.
How much do you guys talk about or think about sort of the disrespect that maybe a lot of the experts have toward Arizona?
Yeah, we don't really care or worry about what they're saying about us because at the end of the day, it's about us. And every day, our motto is 1-0. Every day, we just want to win the day. And if we win as a unit every day, that's all we can ask for. We're doing our job.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, everybody. That's all we have for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow evening after practice.
All right, thank you, guys.